We've had you on radio. We know the story. Yeah, you might talk about your work. We've never heard you talk about that. But we've had all of that, right? So why are we wasting our time? Like, I came here to listen to you talking about Bathu. I can go on the internet and read all about it. No, ma'am. No. No. We're not here for that. We're here for that, but not only for that, right? So, again, with being different, with really doing our research, with really trying to distinguish our brand promise, we really thought in a passion project that is close to my heart, thought a lot about it. It's like, how do I compete on a global scale? How do I really make sure that I play a significant role in the market share of footwear? Because think about it. Yes, people love Bathu. People support it. And again, if we audit, the accolades and everything shows that people are supporting it. But if I want to go to market and audit my share, do you think I'm going to beat Nike at this level now? I mean, we grew up wearing Converse. That's a brand close to our heart. We know it as Utilization, Nike and all of them. And yes, Bathu is coming up. Yes, we love it. It's ours. But am I really going to convince Precious to say, this should be your brand? No way. You know what I mean? And yes, Precious loves Bathu, and she wasn't. But all-star, I mean, you can't take that away from her DNA. Nike. So I thought about, okay, people are supporting us. But what is the market that I can play at and play at differently? And that is going to help me that the next 15 years, 20 years, to be a dominant player. And I thought about a level that a lot of big brands, even corporate South Africa, is not playing about. It's the primary level. If I'm talking about walk your journey, am I going to walk with Nicolette? Nicolette has walked her journey. Yes, I can continue it with her. But where do I start? Do I start with an 18-year-old or do I start with a 6-year-old who does not have it clear about what she wants to do or what they want to do with their life? That's where Bathu wants to play. And ladies and gentlemen, help me announce our first passion project, our CSI project. So, with that being said, we want to be different, and we want our fellow Africans to walk their journey. And I'm talking about Tabiso, who's in Soweto, Ekeleto, who's in Tembisa, Nomfundo, who's in Guguletu, who's about to start primary, or who's in middle school, or is in high school to begin a journey. And we as a brand, we want to walk the journey with our future leaders, year on year. And the beauty about it, we don't want to sell the shoes. We're not selling the shoes. They are not for trade. And as people who have walked our journey, we've started this project with our own proceeds from the business, invested in manufacturing these cool shoes. With Bathu written walk your journey, you'll see it, guys. We'll have the package. You'll be able to interact with it. amplifying our brand promise and speaking to our future leaders about how to walk their journey. Remember what I said, we want to be a shoe of choice when you are walking your journey, when you're about to start your journey. And your journey does not start when you become a civil engineer or an accountant. Your journey starts at primary level. And not all the brands are playing a role in that. And we're not saying you have to buy a mesh kiddies range to walk the journey. We're saying even when you go into school, we want to walk the journey with you. And we want to come year in, year out, give you guys a school shoe. Because when a Theo who's an accountant one day and they're a CEO at Deloitte or KPMG, they will never forget what Bathu has done for them. Because we want to be of service. To say when my mom didn't afford shoes, this brand, for 15 years, every year, they gave me shoes to go to school. So when I'm a CEO, at Deloitte and we're doing CSI and we've got corporate talks or corporate events, I'm going to go to the brand that made me who I am, that supported me in my teenage years. And for us, that is the only way that in 15 years and 20 years, we're going to be able to compete in the market share and own the market. Because we want to walk the journey with our future leaders. And that's who we are. And that's our Bathu for Bathu. Care project. These shoes are not for sale. They went through the right QC, the right quality control and quality assurance, and we went through testing to make sure that they sustain the kids. And with you as Bathu, they say, Motuke Motuka Bathu. And obviously, we've invested our proceeds in this. But ideally, we want to have a corporate sponsor that can be able to amplify the project and grow it. And we've started with our own proceeds because we believe Guti abantu bakholwa kumuntu ohambayo. And that's when we started. We didn't ask for any funding from anyone. We did it ourselves. And we just want to grow with it and take it to the right kids. Take it to the people who deserve it. And over the next 5 years, our vision is to be in each and every household and possibly maybe donate about 1 million shoes in the next 5 years. Every year we want to commit to 100,000 pairs. By end of February financial year next year, 2022, we're committing to donate about 100,000 pairs, complimentary to our communities, because we want to walk the journey with our people. We're not commercializing the shoes, we're just giving it off. And then we're going to obviously extend and amplify it even in retail stores, in different forms, in different campaigns. And you cannot buy the shoes. We will tell you if you want to buy 20 pairs, whatever, we'll communicate according to the mechanics as to how you can get those shoes. But ours is to be of service to our people. Thank you.
Theo, please come back. Guys, give him a round of applause. You know, Theo, every time you speak, it's as if it's the first time I hear the story. And as much as you say, why don't you go to the internet and find the story, it's always better hearing the man tell his own story. It just gives it so much light. There's so much I can tell you. You know, they usually say, guys, show me a man's shoe and I'll tell you his journey. But what you've done with this surprise today is you have put a soul into a child's foot by giving them soles of their shoes. I'd like to clap to that.
Thank you.
I'd like to ask you a few questions before we take a break, because I can imagine you guys need to go to the bathroom and have something to drink. And before we come back, how did this initiative honestly come about?
So, like I said, I'm very intentional in how I do things. You know, I listen to the core that I spoke about, the inner voice. So, research, obviously, and I realized that again, that a lot of brands, they're more about commercializing, corporatizing the business and fighting for the market share. And there's a lot of people that are actually in need of shoes and they want to support them, but they can't afford them. And what role are we playing in that space?
Right.
So obviously, Ngitwana Sekas, and I observe a lot. That's why, I have my lunch in Alex almost once a week, and I go back to Alex. Then I realize that there's a lot of, kids that are still in need of school shoes.
Yes.
And since I'm in footwear, what am I doing about it? That's what it came about.
Wow, it's interesting. And I mean, for me, I've been watching the brand for the past 6 months, and it's shape-shifting into the youth.
Yeah.
I mean, you showcase the likes of DJ AJ at your store openings. You have a lot of kids that come through and you give them an opportunity. Could there be a bigger future when it comes to Bathu as a brand and not just the mass shoes for the kids that you're trying to sell?
Absolutely, absolutely. So we're trying to obviously, like I said, we want to be intentional. Importantly, we want to be, innovative even in our product offering, So everything else that we do, obviously, with footwear manufacturing, we're only 5 years. So there's a lot of challenges that we still go through, But yes, we are promising a bigger offering and more exciting and innovative.
Does the technology get affected by your change now?
Absolutely, absolutely. There's obviously different types of sneaker technologies. The brands that I've mentioned now, they're very strong in investing in technology. You look at what Adidas is doing in Berlin, with their, innovative products and the kind of shoes that they're doing in terms of recycling. It's technology that we as a brand at the moment can't afford, but we obviously aspire to get to that level of innovative or level of technology as well.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it from the first employee of Bathu Shoes. So guys, we're going to take a 10-minute break so that we can stretch, have something to drink, and then when we come back, we'll be joined by a few panelists that are entrepreneurs themselves to try and help us understand the business world better. So please don't move, enjoy yourselves, mingle, network, because that's why we're here, and probably you can also get a picture with the first employee of Bathu. See you guys just now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going this way. This way.
We are not limited to one setting. A walk in our sneakers would lead you to unlimited destinations. Rules? We don't follow those. Our journey began at Gasi, but we didn't say it'll end there. We transcend boundaries. To us, everything is limitless. Nothing can stop us. Shalasi moja. But for now, kisama boss. And kisama ya Bathu. Lima super. Live it, own it, experience it.
So guys, I've put together a panel that inspires me and I feel can inspire you. Of both male and female, to show that business doesn't really have a gender, doesn't even have a strength, doesn't even have a color. It has courage. But a courage that most of us have, like Theo said, the inner voice. I just think mine speaks French. That's why I don't understand what it's saying. I could be a billionaire, but it doesn't want to speak something I hear. But they are all put here today to try and encourage the inner voice and to make us wake up and realize our inner potential, to make our dreams come true, and to also make South Africa a global playing space for business and young business people such as yourselves. I'd like to welcome you guys. Thank you for making time to join us today. And I know that, Dumi, you need to dash.
No, I'm good.
You're good?
It's my birthday today, but...
Oh, happy birthday!
Wow. So I was like, I have a stage to say it's my birthday.
Wow. Well, we'll never forget your birthday now because you were here on the first launch of this wonderful series.
Absolutely.
So wishing you many, many more.
Thank you.
I'd like everyone to introduce themselves. So I'll start with you because it is your birthday. I'd like you to tell us a little bit about who you are, where you come from, and how you got to where you are today.
Thank you. And firstly, I just want to say I'm so inspired by today. Thank you. This is actually such a great birthday present, for Theo to speak and inspire. And thank you, my brother, for
Thank
this.
you, brother.
My name is Dumi Paike. I am the founder and group CEO of Zenzele Group. Like Theo, I was also in corporate. In fact, I was in banking for about 7 years, and also had a passion to do something special. To find something that's sustainable. I just felt like corporate wasn't really for me, and eventually I founded a company called Zenzele Fitness. It's a gym company where basically we build and design gyms inside corporates in private residential estates. And I just saw it as an opportunity, and at the time people thought I was crazy. Why are you quitting your job? You have a comfortable job. Why are you starting gyms? But I saw the vision, they didn't see the vision. And 6-7 years later, we've got 25 clubs, facilities with very large corporates. We've also branched out into the sports apparel, and we've got a digital platform, an app, a fitness app that we're also launching soon. So it's been an exciting journey to basically start building our own African businesses. We consume, like Theo was saying, shoes. We go to the Virgin Actives, which is also not an African fitness facility or business. And I think the whole narrative is that we need to build our own brands, no matter how tough and hard it is. But one day it will be possible.
Wow. And ladies and gentlemen, can we clap again for him again for his white Moja X? That's an amazing shoe. That's an amazing shoe. Precious. I think everyone in the room knows you, and if you don't, you're not planning on getting married. It's not in your plans, you have commitment issues, because she is part of the ring and the dress you want to wear. She is part of that package. I'd like to know about your journey. As much as we see you on social media, we see success after success. Where did you start?
Sure, that question. So, I'm Precious, and I'm in the business of celebrations. So I run a business called Precious Celebrations. And with the name, I think it's a good place for me to start. I needed something that would resonate with me from everywhere. And hence my business name is Precious Celebrations. Also, I started in corporate. I have a background of communications, marketing, and PR. And the bug that bit me to be an entrepreneur, obviously, a lot of us want to be our own bosses, but I think we can all agree it's not easy, and I think that's why a lot of you are here, to be inspired and learn. But I realized how the industry is not as respected as many industries because it seems like a fun job. And I think what made me get into it was to prove that you can still run a business that makes beautiful things, makes beautiful memories. And being in an industry where everyone would say it's saturated, I needed to prove that you can be professional, black and woman, because when I started, it was still very white-dominated, especially wedding planners. And I just saw a gap in the market that why go to a traditional wedding in the village and the person running around making sure everything is run properly and perfect is someone that can't even speak the language. And that really is what motivated me to start my business. And so it's really been something that I'm really passionate about. So I do this and breathe this every day. I like making people really, let go of the responsibility of having a celebration that marks anything in life, from getting married to a milestone celebration in their life. I always wanted to be that person that when you think of celebrating something momentum, Precious Celebrations comes to your mind.
Well, you're on top of my mind, and this is a milestone for me and the brand that I work for. Just touch my chair. According to your expertise, my setup, what do you think? Does it fit the brand?
Clean, not too cluttered.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And the chair, did you feel?
Oh no, it feels amazing. I'm so comfy.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Nicolette, fitness is the hardest thing for most of us. But you make it seem so seamless, so beautiful. I'm looking at your arm right now, and I'm thanking God I'm in this jacket, But where did you start? Where fitness is a personal journey that someone takes. where you have now involved people in this journey to go as far as writing a book and inspiring many. How did this come about?
So here's the thing, Kanye. There's a very specific word that I think gets left out quite a lot with my business, right? And it probably resonates quite a lot with you, because there's a video of yours that I watch quite a lot where you say, "Money loves me."
It does.
So can you give us that rendition quickly?
Money loves me. Money understands me, it recognizes me. It will choose me in a room full of people, and it will just sit next to me. Because money understands me, it loves me.
I love that. So, guys, my name is Nicolette Mashile, and I run a company called Financial Fitness Bunnies. So, I unfortunately am nowhere near being fit, but I can make sure that your money. I can indeed make sure that your money gets fit. As I said, my name is Nicolette. I run a company called Financial Fitness Bunnies. I am probably one of the most dragged people on Twitter, simply because I speak about something that's very uncomfortable to a lot of people. Money is personal, money is emotional, money is keeping score. So people think that if you drive a certain car, you must be making a lot of money. They forget the access to credit. People think that if you live in a specific house, you must be making a lot of money. Again, they forget access to credit. So what Financial Fitness Bunnies essentially does is we put glitter or lipstick on a pig, and the pig is finance. Nobody likes it, nobody understands it. Because the financial sector, and I look at the people coming from it,
Be careful.
they use very big language. So what we do at Financial Fitness Bunnies is really to try and make finance very palatable, very easy to understand. So yes, definitely we can exercise your money, we can ensure that you get to a space where you ideally have a good relationship with money. I think one of the biggest social ills in South Africa is financial illiteracy. And I talk about how I have a fight every single year with big corporates because they've got the spiel that they chant every single year. South Africans are not saving. South Africans are not big savers. South Africans are not doing this. And the question that I then ask is, who has taught them the concept of saving? Who has allowed them to have the luxury to save? So I think when you don't understand your finances and money and management, credit facilities, it's very difficult for you to be able to maximize the money that you get. Let me assure you, and I know a lot of people say this, it's wrong for me to say, we all need money, guys. I know entrepreneurs love to stand in front of you and say, yeah, it's not all about the money. It's
About the money, guys.
Passion is important, But let me tell you, at the end of the day, we all know what money can do, what type of access money gives you. So yeah, that's what the business is all about. Came into a space in South Africa where I would ideally like to say nobody was really maximizing, made a business out of something that a lot of people even today still look down on. I mean, my business really came out of nowhere, guys. I won't lie. I did come from the business space. I was in brand marketing. Sketchy, but we'll talk about it on another day. So today, let's talk about finance. But yeah, thank you guys for being here.
So ladies, I present to you the bag. Secure it. That's what you need. And the first employee, because he doesn't want to be called CEO, Mr. Theo Baloyi. What does inspiring the youth from your story mean to you? And why is it beyond showing the sales and the success of your business? Also, just developing youth and their understanding of business. Because I've seen that that's also your passion, so that you know the blueprint of starting a business correctly.
I think number one, I'm a firm believer of maximizing opportunities, and I stand to be corrected, but as I look at my life, I think, there is no opportunity that I've wasted, if I can think of it. I come from humble beginnings. For those that know Hammanskraal, a village called Paike. I used to walk about 2 kilometers to school. And I am where I am because of the opportunities that were given to me. I went through Tomorrow Trust, which is a bursary fund, started by Kim Feinberg, Jewish. and that was an opportunity for me. I was mentored by Richard Asherson, also Jewish, worked for Investec, now lives in London. That was an opportunity for me to tap into that world. And went on to work for the top 4 accounting firm in the world, not only in South Africa and Dubai. That's an opportunity for me. Then, what is it that I'm doing for others?
Yeah.
How am I allowing other people to tap into that world of opportunity, and play a role in terms of trying to continuously, inspire them. And not from being a motivational speaker or anything. The other day I saw, I tweeted, someone commented on my tweet, was like, Theo, almost when are you ready to replace TD Joshua? and I'm like, no, I don't want to be a motivational, speaker or anything, but, I want to tell my story, and I want to be authentic in doing it. And then if anyhow, directly or indirectly, you can be inspired from that, because if you can be inspired from that, that is my role, because like I said, I'm a product of hope. I'm a product of opportunities. I come from humble beginnings. I know what it means, to come from humble beginnings, and I know what opportunities can do. So, to Maskula at the time, I say this to Andrew all the time, it's so crazy because you would literally wait for DJ's booth to be on YFM for you to get that morning motivation. And you'll have to wait until the following morning. And then they announce DJ's booth is not coming on air today because then there's someone else that you don't like. Then you have to literally wait for Kanyimbao to be on Real Kopota to tap into that world. But now there is power of social media. I can go and look at Nicolette's story and what she's working on. Look at what Precious is working on and tap into that world, even though I won't talk to them, every day. So how am I using that, to be a source of inspiration? Because in our era, you had to wait for radio, for TV. If there's no electricity, that means you need to rely on your own energy to continue going against the challenges.
Yes.
So in everything else that I do, I always aim to achieve that. And hence I want to be intentional and authentic about everything else that I do. And I'm not perfect, I've got my own mistakes, but I want to be honest, I want to be authentic. And that's why I think, why I do what I do. Yeah.
So you're probably thinking, okay, so what's my role here today with the panel? We could listen to them the whole day. This is your opportunity to tap into their minds. I always say to people, social media, I know started out as just a digital album that we can all share our pictures and now share our fashion. But now it's taken it to a bigger step. It's energy. I know everyone says, I like your energy. That's the new word, right, on the streets. But energy is a real thing. What you manifest actually becomes what you truly become. So if you manifest business, your social media should be like your vision board. What you see every day with your subconscious naturally carves you into what you become. So if you're always going to be on social media looking at gossip, you're going to be a gossip fodder. I've started unfollowing people that don't make sense to me, not because I'm arrogant. I've chosen to follow people that are doing things that I inspire. I want to see a Lamborghini every day.
Yeah.
And naturally, I found myself in one. Do you understand? If you follow Elon, you'll start thinking about nature and conservation without even knowing it. It's like a song you hear on radio every day. One day you'll be surprised you actually sing to it, because that's what the subconscious does. And this is what we're trying to create. Always put you around people that can motivate you and naturally carve you into what you'd like to be. You understand? So you can have a dream, but if you're not feeding that dream like you feed your body, you're not going to get that business. If you really want to be in real estate, but you're constantly doing beer things, you're going to be a drunkard. You're not going to understand what real estate is. Go view houses on a Sunday and talk to them about as if you're going to buy it, but you're learning the jargon. You're learning the nature of the business. So I'm going to give you a mic to ask any of our entrepreneurs that are sitting here questions, advice. This is your moment, because I could honestly speak to Dumi, I'm saying how I can fix my body. I can speak to Precious about my wedding day. I can get that finance for that Rolls, and I can renew my contract for another 5 years, if you get what I mean. But it's not about me. I am just the glue between them and you, and to just inspire you more and say, your dream is literally a button away. It's literally a button away and you can do it. Unlike some of us that never had social media, we only caught on now, where we had to wait for YFM, like Theo said, and had to wait for Selim Matunzi, and wait maybe for SABC3's top billing to find myself in a mansion. You guys can see mansions every single day at the time that you want. So I don't know, Cedric, do we have a mic? All right. So when you get the mic, please introduce yourself so that whoever you're directing the question to knows who you are, and you can ask them anything, really. So there's a question from the gentleman on my right.
Hi, guys.
And you're allowed to remove your cool. Yes, you can, so we can hear you, so you can be audible.
Hi, guys. My name is Willie. I've got a company called Home Barber SA. I'm a barbershop owner. Ma, I heard your questions. I heard your story. I love it. Thank you, guys. I heard your guys' stories. I would love to ask a question, especially as a business. I'm an upcoming barbershop in Soweto. I'm doing well, but there's certain stages that I want to get into. So they told me about the credit score. I need to build up on my credit score. I need to have an account in order to get access to credits and stuff. So as a new person, as an entrepreneur, as I'm from Soweto, I don't know what you do. So which kind of models do you think I should go into? Because funding, that's what I need. In order to get funding, I get funding to wrong people, and they give me empty promises. They want certain percentage equity of the business. So I'm new into this thing, so I need advice from that. If you could help us to fund, what can we do to open up the credit score in that particular? So thank you so much. That's the question I'm asking.
Good question.
And this is the question to Nicolette, correct?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Am I answering it?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, Willie. So I think it's important to understand what a credit score is. They always talk about South Africa having a junk status, and that's ultimately the credit worthiness of the country, right? So as individuals, we have our own individual credit scores, and when you create a juristic business or juristic person, which is a business that gets legally registered at CIPC, you then get a business credit score, right? And I think the easiest way to explain what a credit score is when you send a CV to a job, they look through the CV and they see whether or not you are qualified for the job that you are looking to get, right? So they will look at whether you've got the work experience, whether you've got the qualification. Now, financial institutions, when they're looking to give you their money, let's just be fair. I get to have a sugela. You go there and you're like, you want their money, you want the funding, you want the loan, you want whatever it is. You have a sugela, right? So they've got to figure out whether or not you are a good investment for them. So they've got to look at you from 2 points of views. They've got to look at affordability, and that is now your cash flow that goes through your business. How much is the business actually making? That is one part of this whole big story that they are looking at. The second part is, do you have the responsibility to manage credit? Have you ever managed credit in your life? So if we're saying you need 200,000 Rand right now to scale up your business, can we as a financial institution trust you with our 200,000 Rand? Will you commit to paying it back? And the only way they can kind of figure that out without having to suss it out is by seeing whether you have managed other credit commitments before. Now I know, Tina, abantu be finance coaching, it's finance coaching because I'm not a financial advisor, right? We tell people, no, just go to a Truetti, go to a Foschini, go to Markham's, get a clothing account, and that will assist you in building a credit score. I want to challenge that because the reality is that we in South Africa also don't teach enough people about what a credit facility can actually do for you. So for instance, if you take up a Foschini account, for instance, they give you what is called a buying power. Yes, buying power. I mean, was it pushing as a buying power? We don't know credit limits, ne? So they give you a buying power. Naturally, because it's a retail type of account, they're going to give you a very low buying power, right? Based on your affordability and based on, for a lot of people who open first store accounts, they probably don't even have a credit history. That buying power, when they look at your credit report, when you go and say, I want to buy a 200,000 Rand car, then they look at your credit report and they're like, phela lo muntu lona ujwayele ukumanager i-4,000. Yeah, say 14. This is not the person we should be giving credit to. However, there is a loophole in the system. And I always tell this to a lot of young people, especially people who have started businesses. I say, get a credit card for your business. When I was in my first job, by the way, as I said, I come from corporate. At some point, I was teaching children. That's my one. I'm saying, so I was a teacher at some point. I was earning 8,137. That's how intimate I am with my numbers. And one of the banks gave me a credit card with a limit of 14,000 rand. They gave me a credit card with a limit way above what I was earning. So banks are very lenient with giving out credit cards. Now here's the trick with a credit card that a lot of people seem to miss. Most credit card facilities in South Africa are 55 days interest-free. So if you are going to use that credit card, you've got 55 days to pay for it before they start charging you an interest. Now the smart way to do it is you get the credit card facility, you take your own money and you put it on the credit card. Now, when I pull out your credit reports, I see a facility of 14,000 and I'm just using it as an example. However, you're not tapping into it. So there's two things that you are managing to do that actually build your credit profile. The one, you've got a credit facility. So actually, we are saying to you, kudos to you because you were able to get a credit facility. Two, you are not over-dependent on the credit facility because you're actually not using it. So your credit utilization, which is just your credit use, white people like to use big words. So just the credit use shows me as a credit controller at the back somewhere, saying, "Hey man, Uwili man doesn't depend on this credit." It must mean he is earning enough, the business is making enough, or he's got savings that he can tap into when he needs a credit card, right? And then ultimately the third thing is, now we see it's okay, no, you can manage credit. And that's how every successful business, people may say no, but every successful business has a healthy credit line. Because at some point you will need a credit line.
Yeah.
And building your credit report and building your credit score is ultimately very important.
Yo, that's the app I'm phone. No, because you said if I don't touch but I put, I'm good. Hey, they must phone me quickly. Mang Shashele, please, I'm very good. Can I have a mic here, please, for the brother? Hey. Yeah, no. So what can I get? Because I've been putting most and I'm not touching.
Yeah.
So what can I do, Jay? Wow.
You see, the beauty of a good credit score also allows you to negotiate. Because our people, they go to the bank. Then the bank says, we're giving you 14%. But because you don't know yourself, you see when you don't know yourself, it's like pretty girls. Pretty girls know themselves.
Yeah,
And it's,
yeah.
where's us now? When it's, yes, girl. I'm Kanye, right?
Oh, guys.
And then right? So when you know your credit profile, you get back to the bank. Bangathi 14%
No,
to
but I need
10.
I'm going back to the you put but you don't touch.
No, don't touch.
So how can I enhance my life with this moment? Because it feels very... Actually, there's something that can happen in my life that can change.
Let's
Should I
consult.
start a business? What can I do? Where am I?
Email me at nicolette@nicolette.com.
You can go, sir.
Thank you very much. My name is Kabelo Mahlobogwane. I'm new in business. Actually, this is my very first event where I'm attending a business seminar. I come from politics. So last year, accidentally, when I was attending a leadership workshop at Yali, I realized that actually I have a business concept, and I started exploring from there. Well, it's been here and there, I've gotten some grants from Travanua Foundation and SAP, but I'm developing an app which is called the Marking app, which is a data-free mobile application which automatically grades school assessments while giving learners online support and study resources. And it's very new. I mean, my business is an app. When I looked at the invitation, they said you can do merchandise, and I was confused because my business was on my phone. And that's the challenge that I face every time I go. I try and speak to investors who must try and understand this. So I want to ask a question to Theo. Your story is inspirational, and a lot of us can relate to it here. But the question is really, how did you get your business out of the bedroom into the world? Because a lot of our businesses are still in the bedroom. And my brother, I think more or less, my business is still in my phone and in my mind. But to develop the app, I need a minimum of 500,000 rands. And how do I go to an investor with a prototype design and say, this is the idea, and how do I get 500,000 rands just to develop an app at the lowest price? Or how do I get it out of my pocket into the world so that people can start benefiting from it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's a very good question. But before I jump into it, so Nicolette is saying that we should show the bank that we actually don't need their money for them to give us money.
Yes.
Okay. That's what I got from Nicolette's answer.
Hey,
Like,
it's beautiful.
show the bank that you don't need the money, then for them to give you
Well, they need
their
you.
money. Okay, very good question, brother. I think I will share it with the panel as well, because obviously I'll talk from my experience. I think Dumi has also been through, fundraising, processes. He would be able to advise as well. But I think one thing that I learned from, because I've done, when I was at corporate, I've had the privilege I was that guy at the office, with great energy. He spoke about energy, where I would literally rotate within the firm from different projects. If I'm working on asset management project, I move to audit and so forth. So I had the privilege to work on I think with the deals team at PwC, and we're doing a merger and acquisitions, and I was new. And one of the things that I took from that is that, when you're working on a business model, which I also took that lesson into my business, is that you need to be able to understand the mechanics of your business model, number one. Number two, you need to be able to communicate how you're going to commercialize your business. Because if you're talking app, especially in today's I think entrepreneurial world, is that you look at what the guys in Silicon Valley are doing. They're very good at communicating two things or three things. The mechanics of their business model, how they're going to commercialize, their tech companies. Most importantly, how is it impacting the end user? And there's something that I firmly believe in business. For me, it worked for me, and I've seen many other businesses do it, and even big businesses. A proof of concept. Yeah. Because if you can go to anyone and prove to them that you're selling amakwina, and you're selling 5 a day, and this model that you've got, the mechanics speak to one another, you are commercializing the business because your cost to 5 magwinas is 5 rand, and the end user is happy to buy the product. But what you then need is, there's an appetite for the market, but you need 50 rand so that you can increase, either your infrastructure or your capacity, So in that sense, it's very easy. I think investors are willing to open the room, and listen to you. So oftentimes when you said, you've presented to a lot of people, it's mainly because of in your pitch, they're not getting the mechanics, number one. Okay, what's really happening? How are we commercializing this? You need to show a person that if you're giving me 50 rand, I can give you 80 rand back. And I'm not saying it because I think. I'm saying it because I've put 10 rand, and it has actually given me 20 rand. So if you give me your 50 rand, I will get you 80 rand back. You know what I'm saying? And then these are the response from the end consumer. And same thing with Bathu, minimum order quantity in terms of manufacturing, at the time it was about 500, and I had to work so hard to convince the factory to give me an opportunity to manufacture the 100 pairs. And I went on to do that, and I sold within a week. And I went back to them because now I've sold and there's an appetite for this shoe. Then I went back to say, okay, cool, now I want 500, and that's how I scaled. So what I'm saying to you is that, especially in tech, people want to really understand how we commercializing this. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because oftentimes it's, you spend money on, they call it in accounting, intangible asset. Because you're developing, I get it. So it's not like we're spending 500K that you're talking about, and I can say, we spend 500K, then this bottle of water, it's most of the time intangible. So when it's intangible, you need to be able to prove that you can commercialize. If you can crack that, then I think the conversations will be different. Thank you.
Can I just...
Dumi would like to add on to that.
I just want to add, in fact, to both of these guys. I think there's a great book that for all startup entrepreneurs. It's called The Lean Startup. And The Lean Startup, the book is by Eric Ries. So what he speaks about is there's a concept called the minimum viable product. And he says that a lot of entrepreneurs, when they build businesses, we build businesses in isolation. Yeah. So you got a great idea, but you isolate it because without a consumer, without someone willing to pay for your business, you have no business. So one of the things that, I've actually just built an app, a fitness app, and the app was 3 million for us to build the app. However, we had to prove minimally if the product is viable before the funders could say, okay, you got a base of people that are actually willing to pay for your product. So my advice to you and the gentleman there is that instead of investing 500,000 first, rather build a web-based app, which will probably cost you 20,000, and then prove the viability of the product. You spend less money, so you're taking less risk, but then you can go to funders and say, listen, I have 100,000 people subscribing to my product. This product does work. Then the conversation with the funder is very easy. And so even with our app, the way we were able to be funded at 3 million for the app is because we already had a database of people using our gyms. So we knew how they were, and so we could say to them that we've got a database of X amount of people who will use this. And that's what funders are looking for. It's not just about, I'm looking for funding, but it's the minimal viable product. Is this viable? And do you have customers who are willing to pay for it? And that's where you'll get your money.
Okay.
Hi everyone, my name is Theo Baloyi and I'm the founder of Hadi Cosmetics. It's an organic and vegan makeup brand. And my aim is to disrupt the beauty industry and force them to have healthier forms of makeup specifically. I am in the process of growing the brand, the makeup line, because I want a full makeup line. And my question is for Theo, specifically in manufacturing. I'm finding it very hard to get a manufacturer who actually believes in this. I mean, first of all, you're saying it's organic, you're saying it's natural. Do you know that makeup needs chemical A, chemical B? And that's what I'm trying to fight against. That's bad for your skin. You get hyperpigmentation and all of that. So I'm trying to, my difficulty is finding a manufacturer who actually believes in it. And I've been turned back. I've created most of the things from my room and from formulations and, so I'm really finding it difficult to find a manufacturer who will allow me to start off with, like you say, 100 units first and then see where that goes. So how do I go about that? Getting a manufacturer who actually believes in this dream that I have. Thank you.
I think, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. So I think, you know what, there's no, I think, right way or wrong way of going about it, It all depends on, I think, a number of things, Obviously, you need to understand one thing, and I think this is a very important point to the entrepreneurs in the room, that you need to understand one thing, that when you are working with different service providers, they also have, the way they do business, they have policies that, each and every client needs to abide by, So then it's upon you to, find a way to get it done in terms of either building the synergy or trying to, have a buy-in, in terms of your approach to, are you only going to be a client, or is it something that you can offer to your manufacturers of benefit in terms of growing their business, a value add, to say, look, I cannot do a 500 pairs now, but this is the value add that I can bring to your business, as a potential client. So I'm not like any other client that comes and buys 500 units. Actually, if you allow me, to do my 100 pairs, or 100 units, I'm gonna bring this value add to your business, So you should, and I think it takes, mina buy some perfume, buy salaman's manj. So kushasha into yam, you know what I mean? So I'm good at that. So you need to be able to be a negotiator at times. So what I'm trying to say to you is that yes, they're declining you respectfully, not because they don't believe in your brand. They just have policies and process, that they run their business, with. So yours is to find a way that you can sort of bring a value add, to their business, because you don't have the capacity to do the units that they want, So your homework is, how can you actually negotiate better and try to find a value add to their business as a potential client? Yeah.
Well, could I just ask that the mic go to the back? We've had a few hands on this side. Do we have a mic that side?
Yes.
Oh, we do. Okay.
Good day to the panel and to everyone in the house. My name is Mponzibe. The brand is Local Slake. We do apparel. Started out with caps, now we're doing clothes. The question is directed to you. I want to know, Maparane, before you opened the store, you could have took your sneakers to Amanya sneaker retailers. So I would like to know, why did you not take it to other sneaker retailers because that's the most affordable thing because there you have to deal with the stock and then delivering it there.
Yeah.
Why did you necessarily open a store? Because that is where I'm stuck at when it comes to growing the brand. I currently sell my pop-up store online, but it's not making enough numbers to keep business at home.
Yeah.
It's just taking care of the business.
Yeah.
So I would like to know, why did you not send your brand to other stores like sneaker stores around?
Yeah.
Why did you open a store? And specifically, I would like to give you an innovative idea on introducing our local brands into your stores because where the traffic is at, it's where people see. So you can give us some free run, try. Look at, okay, guys, for this month, this brand can sell Anjalo Anjalo.
Yeah.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. A very interesting question. I think I partly addressed it in my keynote talk.
You did.
But I will just to answer. I think for me, I was very intentional about the vision and how I'm going to do it. With all due respect to Retail South Africa and what they're doing for the retail industry in South Africa. I mean, even the retail body. For me, I felt like what they're offering to retailers or fashion brand, it's not of value to me, Yes, it's going to take me time to build what I want to build, but I wanted to do it the right way in the sense that, I've got that exclusive control around my brand. Because, I also studied, the age that we live in and where the consumers live, that what I mentioned about data. So for me, I knew that, yes, I'm this sneaker brand that I want to build and I'm about people, but in future, Dumi spoke about subscribers, data is a big thing. And there's no way that any retailer can just say, this month we had, 100 customers that bought Bathu, and here's their details. They won't give it to you, you know what I mean? So for me, I try to marry where Retail South Africa is and, where the future is going. And then if I can best control that mechanism, I'll be able to build a sustainable brand. And most importantly, like I mentioned, retail, or the business of fashion is known to have counterfeit, and if you are retailing, which I feel, in my view, I think it killed our, one of the best brands that we had, Luxury Culture, RIP to Grootman, Wandi.
Yeah.
I think, for me, in my view, when I look at it, is that it was such a powerful brand that a lot of people resonated with. But I don't think they had a counterfeit strategy and delivery, or maybe they had, but it was not maybe, with due respect, implemented the right way. Because over, I think, 500 retailers that sold Luxury Culture, to a point that it was, the consumer did not know exactly where to go and if I'm getting the right thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know because they're retailing it everywhere, So I did that study to say, okay, the best way to, manage the counterfeit risk is to actually be control of how I communicate my brand, exclusively to, to my consumers. And I think Tiamo is here from retail. He will answer about retailing other brands in our own store. Thank you, but I hope that gives clarity, my brother. But it's all part of our strategy, to sell our own shoes in our own stores. It took time because the first 2 years of our business, we had so many offers from landlords and retailers, but we said no to them because we were still building our working capital. And that is why we're expanding the way we did, because the first 2 years of our business, we were a high turnover business, with minimal cost. Never changed our lifestyle, never changed anything else, but maintained the business. To a point that it's like we knew COVID is coming. So when COVID hit, we had a healthy working capital to sustain the business. We didn't fire anyone, we didn't close any jobs. Even when people were not going to work, we paid 100% salary because our foundation was solid.
And that's a true story. I think we have another question from the back, and then we'll bring it back forward.
Hi guys, my name is Dumi. I'm from Boksburg. I'm the co-founder and executive chef of Dainty's Kitchen. So I've got a question for Precious. Since you say you get people that go into the village, that can't take the language, that plan the weddings, I've got a problem. So people come there, they can't afford the plate or they want discount. How are you disciplined with that? Like, say, guys, I do understand that the budget is not enough, but I can just work around my pricing. Or how did you work around that thing?
I think as you start, everyone has a beginning stage in their business. As Theo said, he was the first employee in his own business. I think if you still starting up and you want to get to a point where your brand is respected, and when you put a price, people don't even doubt or question it. But if you're starting out, you have to build that brand trust, because especially in the service industry, in the business that we run, you depend a lot on what people say about the service that they've received from you. So if you're still starting out and you want to build your brand, there's really nothing wrong with hearing someone out and negotiating, but you mustn't still be at a loss in your business. Always remember, you run a business. It's not to make someone else feel better, or it's not a hobby. So our industry, that's always been the challenge, that you do something that is expected that a family would do. So when you come in and you putting a price on the table, they don't understand that you still have salaries to pay. There's still other things that get you to a point of where you say this is the final product. So because it is a service-driven industry that we're in, you have to build that trust first, so that when you now say this is my price, people don't even doubt or question the worth and what they're gonna get. Quality always goes with the service that you give. So if you want people to believe in your brand, you must also believe in it, and there's always a starting point. I'll give you an example. Obviously, when you start, the way we work, it's time. And a lot of people don't always want to pay for time. So you have to make sure when you build right from the beginning, that you don't stay in that, stage of people taking advantage of your offering.
Yeah.
So give it a time and a limit, so that by the time you say in a year, I can always say I'm building my portfolio, I'm building my name in the industry, so people trust it. So that when you now understand this is a business, people don't question it. Always remember that, because in the service industry, people always question the time that you put in, and they never want to pay for it. So you have to make sure you build your name and always remain professional. People won't doubt what you're going to give them.
So to me, bayakhala abantu bakho. Bayakhalela man, siyakhala. Yes, Buti.
Thank you. Sanbonani. My name is Lendo Buhlemnisi. I run a couple of businesses, but I'll mention just two, because I've got questions specifically for that. So I have Afterthought Properties, which is a real estate business that rolls out affordable rental accommodation for low-income earners in townships. So we've got like 10 apartments and rooms and cottages. And the second one is a hardware business, Andura Hardware. We focus on rolling out hardware stores in the township. So it's mostly focused in the townships. So I want to ask about bootstrapping, because I hear you speak about people talking about credit and all those kind of things. So I'm asking, when you bootstrap your business, when you start out, you start it yourself. Like you build it yourself, you do the things. Theo was selling shoes from the boot of his car, and you do the thing. So at what stage do you then start looking into going for credit, for partnerships, and also equity partners? At what stage do you start looking into that? And then the second question, just in closing, is on diversifying your business. When do you start looking into diversifying your business? If you are a sneaker brand, start having some other apparels or whatever, you know. When do you start looking into diversifying your business or doing other things, and make sure it doesn't kill your bottom line and what you had initially started to do? Thank you.
So this question is directed to the whole panel? To anyone.
Okay, can I take the
sure
yes, question? That question.
Yes.
Hey, the other ones are technical. I'm taking the easiest one, or what I can relate to. For me, I'm a firm believer in building profile before diversification. Yeah. I think Precious said it. You need to build the trust.
Yes.
And when you build the trust, many other things can open for you. When you have that credibility in the market, and you've built that credibility, so many other opportunities come your way, to a point that you even find that you don't even have to work so hard to diversify. I mean, I think we've got so many examples in South Africa and Africa of people who diversified, and mainly because of the one business that they've built. I mean, you look at is it a Dr. Patrice Motsepe? Is
Patrice
it a doctor?
Motsepe,
Or
doctor.
Patrice? Is it a doctor? I don't know.
Oh, no,
But
the wife
is
is
it
doctor,
just
it's
Patrice?
Patrice,
Okay.
it's
The
Patrice.
billionaire Patrice Motsepe.
Yes.
Right? You look at what he's known for. I mean, yes, lawyer from, Bowman Kilfillan or whatever, but what he's known for and what he's done, that credibility. I mean, one day decide to say, I'm going to be, the president of CAF.
Yes.
The whole of Africa knows this guy, so it's easy to sort of diversify. Not really easy, but, you have means because you've got the credibility, from leadership and many other things. Even in service offerings, the same thing. I mean, talking about collaboration, we've built our brand over the years, and obviously we had the Bathu Music collab as well. And after that, with many other things, we had so many corporate. I mean, literally every week, I've got a corporate, 4+ corporates that are knocking on our door, looking for, work with us or trying to do a project with us, mainly because of the credibility that we've built around foodware, And then you can make a call to say, do I really want to diversify into other service offering or product offering, or do I really want to work with this brand and so forth? You know what I mean? So what I'm trying to say is that for me, what I believe in building profile and the credibility before you diversify.
Can I also jump into that?
Sure.
I think that because what Theo's saying and what his question was about bootstrapping and also getting funding. So in my situation was very different. From the first time I started my business, I got funding. There was 5 million of funding, and so I never had to bootstrap. And there was a reason for that. So, and you have to identify what the reason is. My business is very capital intensive, so I have to buy large equipment from the start. So obviously, I would need some sort of money to buy that equipment. And so in that situation, it made sense to actually then, and so the decision, I don't think there's a right or wrong answer if you should bootstrap or not. It just depends on the requirements that your business needs at the time. And you have to be able to answer that question. And then when it comes to diversifying, I think that it's a very, very, very tricky question. And entrepreneurs need to be very, very careful when making that decision. Because sometimes diversifying, you can spread yourself very thin, and then the credibility and your business, because now you have your hands in too many things, and you feel like you're actually being productive, but you're not. At times, it's actually very good to spend time on a specific core business and grow that brand to a point where the brand is so solid that then you can start spreading out to diversify in other opportunities. And in my situation, I have started diversifying. My main business is a gym business, and so the people that come into the gym, they wear gym clothes. But I've had that database for the last 5-6 years, so I know exactly what they do. So when I started making clothes for them to wear when they go to gym, it makes sense because they've already identified with our business. So there's also an element of trust. And so even when we started building an app, a fitness app, to say, look, even though you're at home and you're not coming to the gym, subscribe to our app. I've diversified into the tech business. But it's the same customer who trusts me, and they trust my main business. And therefore, coming again to the value chain, to say that these are the same people. I've understood what their buying power and patterns is, and therefore that's why I'm diversifying. If today I'm doing gyms and all that, and then the next day I started doing wedding planning, then, because a lot of people feel like, okay, there's an opportunity, let me open a bottle store, let me start shoes, let me do that, and then you're like, I have 10 businesses, but you're actually all over the place. You really, really need to spend enough time for your core business and do it so well that you start having corporates knocking at your door to saying, I'd like to collaborate, and then you make the decision who you want to collaborate with.
Okay. Oh, you'd like to add on?
Yeah. So I want to ask you something, my brother. Oh, my eyes are terrible. Yeah. If I sell you this phone, how much are you buying it at? It's an iPhone 12, what?
30,000.
30,000. If I sell you this phone and I say to you it doesn't work, it's screen's cracky. Wait,
15, yo.
15. If I sell you this phone, it's work, it's fully functional, I've got all these people's numbers that are sitting here. And with this phone, you can access them anytime. How much are you paying?
No, it does still have the crack, because if it isn't a crack.
No, it's got no crack, nothing.
Oh,
And when you ring them,
Do I
you
have
get
access
them.
to your DMs?
So what I'm essentially trying to demonstrate to you is value.
Yeah.
People pay for value.
Yeah.
So when you ask the question of when do I start expanding, looking at diversifying, it's when you have something valuable to offer the market. The market doesn't care about your passions. The market doesn't care who you are. The market doesn't care what color you look. If you bring something valuable to the market is going to respond favorably.
100%.
That will never change. That is business. That is the premise of business. So ultimately, when people say to me, should I bootstrap my business and up to what point do I bootstrap it? I always say to people, you need to figure out what is the value of the business that you are trying to put out into the market.
Yeah.
And is it even worth it for you to bootstrap? Because let's be fair, as entrepreneurs, we're very emotional about our businesses. Uthola urun ibhizinisi engayenzi imali. Ibhizinisi ukuthi uyayibona ukuthi yabona la sengimani ngiyayenza. Right? But also in a country like South Africa where the economy is so poor, we've used entrepreneurship as creating a job.
Yeah.
Self-employment disguised as a job. I mean, as a business. So the question you've also got to ask yourself is, do I have a business here or have I created my own job?
Yeah.
That is going to be very, very important to say, I remember having a conversation with Precious, in fact, on one of our podcasts that we did with one of the corporates. And the question that they didn't want me to ask Precious, they took it away from the script, was a question of, was the question of her using her provident fund to start a business. Am I
Yeah, no, it's okay. No.
Right?
It's the truth, so.
So the reality is, if she saw value in her business, she was willing to take what is traditionally known as money that you keep for retirement to put into a business. So that's the conversation that you've got to have with yourself. And unfortunately, that is a lonely journey. And you've got to have that conversation with yourself. And ask yourself, realistically, ngiyayithanda le business yami, but is this business bringing value to the market? And if it's not, then
it's a job.
Gotta have another conversation with yourself, you know? But on the in regards to diversifying, one of the biggest conversations I had with Vusi Tembakwa, you guys know him, last year when I was trying to do everything, because he's a superhero. What's he give me, Nicolette? You've got to do one or two things very well. Let go of everything else. In fact, no one cares. Because you're going to do it and you're going to get a C grade. But if you do two things that you are really well and you can do very good, you get A.
Yeah.
So you've got to figure out when you are diversifying, am I diversifying into something that is I can do and I can do well? Or am I chasing something there? Am I chasing money? Because I think property, they say property's got money. But people don't talk about how much it is to actually run a property business.
Yeah.
Not just the money side, the regulations.
Yeah.
Not just the regulations, the headache that comes with tenants, maintenance. There's a lot, you know? So I think a lot of us, we sit and we look at the likes of Theo, likes of Precious, likes of Dumi, and we're like, hey man, he's in retail, he's doing really well. But nobody really has the conversation.
Yeah.
The letters of demand that come on a daily basis.
When?
Okay? When the manufacturer calls you and says, load shedding, stock is not going to be ready. And you've got orders and you've promised people that the order will arrive. So people don't talk about those things. We aesthetically make business look amazing and we make diversifying look great. But when you have a conversation with yourself in your home, in your room, and you say, am I really going to go into this direction? And is it worth it? Is this what the market is looking for? There you'll get your answer.
Nice. Unfortunately, guys, I can only take 2 more questions.
Hi guys, my name is Kutwana Khomo. I'm a 3rd-year graphic design student from UJ, and this is my partner. Stand up, bro.
Yes, boy.
Stand up, my partner.
This is my partner. He's a photography graduate from Vega, and we run an umbrella company called Vision Studios. What we basically do is like, we make music videos, we design books, literally every single thing that we've learned from university, we incorporate in our business. So what I want to know is, we've been doing this for a long time, since 2019, since I started my degree, and this is my 3rd year now. So our problem is that like we've been putting out music in all these streaming platforms, music videos, but then the problem is like it's really hard to reach out to people in the hood because they don't have Spotify, they don't have Apple Music, things like that. So it's really hard for us to engage with them, you know, because they don't have those things. And we don't know how to do, like we want to know how to make money off what we are doing together. And we also want to invite you guys, if you want to work with us, can you please guys, let's do it.
I love it. So just to understand your question, for you, the issue is how do you get your reach and also make money in reaching your numbers? 100%.
Kanye, I think that's for you.
I think so. Basically, I mean, Theo explained something like that, that sometimes you need to offer your services, not as a company, but as a service that that radio station needs. For instance, there's Soweto TV. There are local, like Gau TV. There are local TV stations that need service of people working. So that's you know, bringing your umbrella to them instead of you charging them for a service. Say, we can work together in making your channel better. But we come in as a service provider to your channel, and that's how you can pay us. Unlike them outsourcing you to do it wherever. Sometimes you need to move your business into Gau TV and work with them for a year to gain that recognition and the mileage that you want. And then from there move to Soweto, but they're the two of you. So one can go to Soweto, one can go to Gau TV. And as a company, share the ideas, share the tech, share the equipment that you need, but you're still tapping into the market that you want. Sometimes you need to not be the boss, be the employee to be the boss. Because we all want to start in executive level, but sometimes you need to start as an employee and work yourself to the level that you want to be. Especially in our industry, you need to moonlight, you need to give your services to hone. Because in our industry, it's about how many places have you been, how many stations know you, who knows you in the game, you know, how many people have seen your logo, who knows you, you know. So it's those things that you need to think about. Down here. We have landed.
Dumela Magetso. Ke Lerato. Ke tswa mo Diepkloof mo Soweto. Le brand ya ka ke Rata Vaslapra.
Go tlhapa ntate. School.
I actually have a request for Theo. I started Brendiaka, it's a year now, and with blessings from God and my ancestors, I got approached by a couple of influential people. I got approached by the likes of Bo Machabandlovu, Bo Didi. 3 months back, I got approached by Nando's Lipep.
Nice.
So they want Rata Nando's, they want Rata Pep and stuff like that. So I'm actually trying to collaborate with a big brand so that people like us represent the labels. You know, sometimes we just want to be seen or woman. So at times that's a no, we just want our brand to be there. We just want someone to say, I've got faith in you, I can see that you've got something going on. Let's take it from here. You know, like all of a sudden people in other countries can see that. So since I got approached by Pep and Nando's,
Sure.
So ke kopa dilo mo fatshe bono re tsa jwa like ba fela shooting yana rape se sisters
and there's a photographer quality do it now there's a photographer right now
so dilo mo fatshe re tse rata Bathu, that's all.
All right guys, unfortunately that's all the questions that I can take, but I'd like to ask my panelists to share their handles with you, because probably someone would like to DM you and carry on with the conversation that they couldn't have with you today, and possibly email you if you could. So I think this is something that you guys want to write down if you'd like to speak to any of the panelists up here today. I'll make sure that they answer. Let me know. You got my... Oh, no. Guys, I answer me. Guys, I answer. When I footwear beauty, I'll gang tint. And you know, it's my thing. So, please share your handles and emails.
On Instagram, it's Dumi Paike, Tumi, and then surname Paike, Phake. And then Twitter, same thing, Dumi Paike.
Please answer.
Sorry?
Please answer when they. Please. Because now I'll have to come find you.
I'll answer.
Okay. Precious.
My handle, Instagram, it's Precious the Planner. And if it's business related and anyone would like some input or advice, preferably on email, it's the most professional way to do it. So it's info@preciouscelebrations.co.za.
Yes, actually, when you say that, if it's work related, info@info at zenzelegroup.com.
Nicolette?
Can I ask permission to do something?
Yes.
Yeah, no, mina nangangidiyeni, guys.
Please, if they can find you anywhere.
One of the biggest struggles, guys, for female entrepreneurs is getting invited to a business meeting.
And then it's not business.
Then it's not business.
Yeah.
It's a struggle for us. So, please just email me. And I really do respond. But also, I was taught a very important skill. When you email people, get to the point. Telling a story. And then by the end of the email, I'm like, what does this person need?
Yeah.
So please email me. I'm really keen to hear you guys' businesses, what you guys are doing, and any way in which we can collaborate, we can work together. Please email Lerato in my office. It's lerato@nicolettem.com. I know that's very, so.
But your handle, just in case they want to follow, because you're always giving advice and tips.
Oh, it's what's my handle? It's Nicolette Mashile, man. You should be able to find it,
Sure.
Just spell my name correctly. Wow. 1 L and 2 T's, guys. Thanks.
Cool.
Okay. Okay. My brother, Lerato, so our marketing team is here, our Smash is here. She will be able to assist in getting the conversation forward. I love where you're going with this. I mean, I think you can make a property out of it, and you can, trademark it, Rata, and especially when Nando's is coming to play in Pep, sort of copyright it, and and that will be your unique selling proposition, because people are asking for, so many collaborations that look the same. So yours could be the property holder of #Rata, and the brand comes in, So it could be a big thing. So and I will be able to jump on that. If I can own it too, that would be great. I'm just kidding, but I think that's I love the approach. Theo Baloyi, Theo_Baloyi on Instagram, Theo Baloyi on Facebook. I hate my Twitter handle because someone already has Theo_Baloyi or Theo Baloyi, so I had to put a 01 at the end. You know the struggle. So it's on Twitter, it's Theo_Baloyi01. If you guys know how I can get the Theo_Baloyi or Theo Baloyi, how do I buy it? I don't like. Really? Ash, I need to get that Baloyi, Because it's Theo_Baloyi01. I don't really like it. But on Twitter, Theo_Baloyi01. Thank you guys. And Bathu_SA.
Very important.
Yeah.
So guys, thank you so much. But this is not it, There's a lady at Bathu called Mashudu. We call her Mash.
Yay.
She is, if the Titanic had a mash, it wouldn't have sunk, Like, you wouldn't know that the Titanic sank, It would never be a story. If, 9/11 had mash, 9/11 would have not happened. She is literally the wind beneath everyone's wings, from making sure I'm standing here, making sure that you're sitting there, making sure that everything comes together. She's going to close it off. But before I invite her onto stage, I realize there's a common need in your businesses: visibility and getting it to the people.
Yeah.
Once you understand that, celebrities like free stuff.
Yes.
celebrities love free stuff. I love receiving gifts. Yes, we love free stuff. Okay? So use celebrities. And when I say use, it's because we like unboxing. It makes us feel special. But also, we like the reach that we have and also giving away things to our followers. Always look at what a celebrity is going through. If someone has just had a baby and you've got baby products, hit them up. Don't hit me up for baby products. I don't have a baby, you know? If someone just lost their dad and you have a flower company, reach out. Be the flower kid, because they have mileage. If someone is going through depression, find what your business you can offer to these celebrities, and they will help you. We don't answer because sometimes I don't need nappies. I read it, hi, I've got a nappy company, I dispose of nappies, but bruh, I don't even wear adult nappies. I can't help you. So always follow a celebrity story and see what they need. Celebrities start fitness journeys, send them your clothing if you've got sweaters and tights and all of that. We love when people understand what we do and they try and make what we're trying to sell even better. So use us. We are that platform because people look to us for influence, and we need the mobility sometimes to make that influence greater. So that's what I'm saying. Just reach out, but for what I am doing in the moment. If I'm bleaching my skin, all right, guys, so I'd like to call Mashudi. She has a few words to share. Make some noise.
Hi, everybody. Okay, so...
You can stand in the middle, Mash.
Hey?
Like, the stage is
in the middle.
Yeah.
And she hates it, I know.
Ish. Yeah, no, I'm not a spotlight person. So, Namshaweta Nkwenu. Oh, I like that. Okay, so first of all, I'd like to thank each and every single one of you guys for coming through. You know, when we started this concept, when we started giving birth to it, when we were having a conversation internally, I always say to the team, and Theo knows this, that for me, Walk Your Journey series is not about making entrepreneurship look sexy. It's not sexy. It's a lot of hard work. There's a lot of, it's a struggle. It is a, it's commitment. It takes a lot of commitment. It takes a lot of rejection and, you know, falling down and then getting back up 13 times, you know, but for me, this series is about showing that as unsexy as it is possible. And that's the reason why we had a panelist discussion, to show you guys that it's actually possible. So I hope you are all as inspired as I am from this session. But yes, but like I said, I just want to say thank you to each and every single one of the delegates. You guys are taking seats today because we were inspired by each and every single one of your stories. It wasn't just about you guys just learning from the team, it's also to draw some inspiration as well from the panelists, from each other, network with each other, and that's part of the reason why we started this series. I know you guys got a gift when you started, when you came in here. We've actually got another gift. Oh, wow. I know, hey, because Theo is just that generous. So when you guys leave the auditorium, each and every one of you guys are actually taking a school shoe home. Oh, wow. So you will notice it's probably not your size, but the reason why we're giving it to you is because we want you guys to also pay it forward. Yeah. So you got yourself a sneaker, and I see some of you guys are rocking them already. That's right. Yes, I see that. So yes, again, we just want to give you a school shoe for you guys to just pay it forward, give it to a niece, give it to somebody else who's in need as well. So yes. Amazing. And I would also like to acknowledge our media. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to broadcast this wonderful offering We wouldn't be able to amplify what we're trying to achieve as Bathu. We wouldn't be able to share the stories that I'm hoping have not just inspired the people in this room, but the people who are actually listening on all the social media platforms. So I just want to give you guys props. And you guys are also taking school shoes with you home. Okay. Another thing, I can't have a vote of thanks without acknowledging our department heads. Actually, I want them to actually stand up because, guys, go Bathu, Raspana, Ra Bereka, ne? You guys can see with every single thing that we're currently rolling out. But I want you guys to just see all the department of heads that are currently actually working so tirelessly every single day to make this brand actually a success. So just a quick stand up and just give everybody a wave. So I just want to acknowledge you guys. I also want to acknowledge Theo. Guys, we are all in this room because he had a vision, you know? And it is our responsibility, not just as employees of Bathu, each and every single one of us, to help him carry the baton and actually carry this forward.
Yeah.
I'm constantly inspired by him. I mean, we are some of the lucky ones who actually get to interact with him on a day-to-day basis. And I have to say, just for myself, I'm inspired every single day. I'm challenged every single day, you know, by how you keep pushing on, even when it gets tough. Even though we tell you sometimes that, you know, you were alone when you when God spoke to you. But the reality is we are in this with you. Each and every single one of us, we are in this with you.
Thank you.
And we appreciate you for it. And yeah, we're all excited to take this vision forward with you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, she's not done? So cute.
Am I being cut short? Before I move to our panelists, I also want to recognize the team, the guys at the back. I would also like to recognize my team, which is my marketing team. You know, guys, like I said, Rabereka Kopatu, guys, and I can tell you now, I wouldn't be able to do a lot of things if I didn't have a solid team working with me. And they're constantly working tirelessly, and I never really say this enough, or I never really say this publicly, but I really appreciate you guys, and I love you so much for making my life easier. Because most people barake MASH who will take on the Titanic, it's because MASH has got a phenomenal team that she's able to take on the Titanic. So I really, really appreciate you guys. I would also like to acknowledge our agency, DNA, the marriage that works. So honestly, I just want to take time to just appreciate you guys, all the hard work, all the fights. I think there was a couple of times when we wanted to throw things across the room, but we created magic. And I believe that we're going to continue to create magic with you guys. So thank you so much for the continuous support. And I look forward to more projects with you guys. Yeah. And last but not least, I would like to recognize our MC. So, guys, I mean, you saw even with all the videos that were being played when Theo was presenting. You know Kanye, ne? Kanye is, you know that aunt who comes, you know she's going to show up, whether kilifu, whether lenyalo, she's there. And you know she's going to bring it. That's Kanye. Kanye is literally part of Bathu's family. Most people say she's our brand asset, but honestly, she's that aunt, to be honest with you, that has always been part of, you know, the Bathu journey. And I believe that, you're always going to be there with us.
Thank you.
And I can't wait to do even more magic with you,
Thank you.
create even more clips with you. So thank you so much for always showing up and for always bringing it.
Thank you.
So yeah, we've got a token of appreciation for you.
Thank you. They're beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. And then I'm going to go to our ladies. So I'm going to start with you, Nicolette. Okay, for me, it's just been, personally, I've enjoyed working with you for the last couple of months, especially working as closely as I have in the last couple of months. I've had an opportunity to be loud. As you can hear, she's very loud. But I've also enjoyed, our sessions together. And thank you for coming through today. Thank you for the words of wisdom that you've shared with the team, the financial wisdom. And also, again, showing the importance of checking yourself. I think it's important as anybody, whether you're an entrepreneur, on your personal journey, to constantly check yourself. And I think it's important that you highlighted that quite strongly for each and every single one of us. So thank you very much. We've also got a token of appreciation for you. So, yeah, we've got something very exciting as well that's coming up, but, we like surprises, so we'll probably leave this one for later. Precious, the lady who makes everything look beautiful. For me, I just want to say thank you on behalf of the team. We called, and you showed up, and you know what I'm talking about. So we really appreciate you taking the time to actually come and spend time with our delegates and being part of our Walk Your Journey series.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I'm going to leave the birthday boy for last. And you know what's sad? You guys didn't even sing happy birthday to him.
We're ready.
Are you ready?
Yes.
We're ready.
I think so, hey. I think he's even going to stand up, and then you guys are going to sing happy birthday to him. So, Dumi, thank you so much for coming through on your birthday and gifting the team and everybody else with your presence on your birthday.
Thank you.
We hope you are going to have a phenomenal rest of the day and hope you get spoiled. We've got a little something for you as well. Just to spoil you, but before we give it to you, I think we should sing happy birthday to him.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm not going to lead, guys.
You are.
Okay. All right, I'll take the lead.
Yes.
We're not live streaming, ne? Okay.
One key, ne?
One key. Okay. Okay, let's go.
It was worth coming here.
1, 2, 1, 2. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dumi. Happy birthday to you.
Yip, yip.
Hooray!
Una one. Una two.
I even forgot how old I am. Thanks, guys.
Okay. Theo, I know you always say we shouldn't actually gift you with anything, but we actually have a little something for you as well.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. No, thank you very much, guys. Thank you once again for taking the time out for today. And I hope this was a fruitful experience for each and every single one of you guys. Godspeed.
Thank you.
Yeah.